Well now, this chapter of Boku no Hero Academia is out really early, because usually the translations don't come out until Monday, so to see this out early Saturday? Interesting. So, this chapter of Boku no Hero Academia, the hype I have right now after reading this chapter is immense. Like, I have a lot of hype after reading this. And I just want to say, Shinsou, I think that's how you say his name, or Shin, him at the end of this chapter, them mind games he's playing with Izuku. Like, those mind games. So, I'm going to take a couple of theories. I'm just going to theory craft about what I think is probably going on with Shinsou. Like, what type of quirk power is he using? So, we've seen a couple demonstrations of whatever he's possibly doing in the past couple chapters. And we see how it looks like he might be manipulating people to where he's controlling their body and stuff like that. Like some form of mind control. And I'm assuming from this chapter that he is mind controlling Izuku to where he cannot move. And so, I'm assuming that either A, his ability works through the eyes, like he has to look at his opponents directly into the eyes and he can manipulate them to where they can possibly do what he wants, or B, it's something to do with his speech. For instance, whatever he says, most likely they might listen to what he says. So I'm assuming it's one of those two things, but regardless of that, how is Izuku supposed to get out of some form of body manipulation or mind control from Shinsou in this chapter? Because at the end, he's frozen solid. Like, he can't move. He really cannot move. And the point of the match, this 1v1, is either A, you either say, I give up, or you can no longer move, or you fall out of the ring. So, those are the three ways to lose. And I'm wondering, is Izuku really going to lose on the first match? Like, straight up, like, is he going to lose on the first battle of this 1v1? Because I really hope not. Because the next battle after Shinsou is Todoroki. We're going to get to see Todoroki versus Izuku if Izuku wins this. So, I really hope he does not lose this match, because I want to see the Todoroki versus Izuku fight. Speaking of that fight, I'm quite shocked the mangaka wrote Todoroki and Izuku's fight so soon, because that fight is getting a lot more and more hyped by the chapter. And I mean, it's very obvious that's going to be one of the final fights of this tournament, but to see how it's just so soon in this tournament, you can count me surprised, because usually when it comes to tournaments or formats and stuff like this and 1v1s, usually the main top dog fights are saved towards the end of the, tournament. And we get to see that Bakugo's on the opposite end of the tournament leaderboard. Like, you see how Bakugo's fighting Ochako on the right side of the board. And so you can assume if Bakugo wins, and he continues to win, and he gets up to the top where he fights the last person, he would be fighting Izuku as the last person. So the last fight of the match, if all goes well, would be Izuku versus Bakugo. And if that does happen, I could see why it would happen, because those two are rivals. They've been rivals since Chapter 1. It would make a lot of sense. But it's just still shocking to see how Todoroki would get shafted so early on in this tournament. You'd think he would last until, like, right before the semifinals. That's what I would assume. But if not, well, I guess that happens. Now, getting into some other details, I want to take a moment to talk about the first cover page of this chapter. That is one thing I have neglected to talk about for these past couple chapters, and it's been happening for the past couple chapters. I noticed that the mangaka, he's trying to explain the different side characters through his cover pages. Like, it's kind of like how Oda likes doing his little side stories in these past 100-so chapters of One Piece. Well, it's very similar to what the mangaka of Boku no Hero Academia is doing. Like, Boku no Hero Academia is also doing what Oda does, and is adding these little different details into the cover pages that are very important to the plot. Because with this week's cover page of Boku no Hero Academia, we find out this Ojiro character and his quirk ability. We find out about his name, his height, different things like that, and what his quirk can actually do. And these past couple chapters have actually done something like this. It's even done something like Todoroki. So to see how Ojiro got, dived into as a character, and the mangaka took time to dive into his character and flesh out his abilities, even though at the end of things, when it came to this chapter, he wasn't that important, so to say, to this chapter, He's still, I am glad he got fleshed out. We got to find out more about his quirk, because his quirk ability, from what we find out from Ojiro at the cover page, he has this tail. He has this giant-ass tail, and from what I can assume from the information we are given, is that he can't really discard this tail. Like, he can't, you know, put the tail down to where it disappears for a given time. He always has this tail activated, and also from the details, he can use this tail as a third-type arm, and it's very muscular, so, yeah. I mean, it's really interesting to see how the mangaka is taking the time to dive in on the cover pages with details about certain characters, because that's just really cool. I like that. I like manga do that. That's what really makes me respect Oda, because he does side stories in his cover pages, and to see how the mangaka of Boku no Hero Academia is doing the exact same thing, I'm quite happy to see that. Now, talking about the fights and the setups of this chapter, there's a lot of fights going on, a lot of hype fights, like you have Ida versus Hatsumi. Oh, that fight's gonna be pretty interesting. Gadget Girl versus the freaking engine dude that just speeds across. Yeah. Ida versus Hatsumi is gonna be fun to watch. Bakugo versus Ochako. Oh my god, poor Ochako. I'm sorry. I'm an Ochako fanboy, but Ochako, you've lost. You've already lost. Like, it's said and done. You're already done, because Bakugo, he's amazing. Like, I mean, as a character and as his powers and quirk powers, I mean, he's incredibly strong. I mean, Ochako does have a couple things she probably has yet to show us. Still, I just highly doubt she could go up against Bakugo of all people. I highly doubt it, but we'll have to see how that goes. Other setups going on. Todoroki's going to be fighting in the next match right after Izuku, so I wonder how Todoroki's going to do against his opponent, because, I mean, Todoroki is, you know, the son of the second strongest hero in the world, so I assume he's going to be able to win. It'd be really crazy if we find out he actually loses to whoever he's about to fight, and if that does happen, whoa. Now, that's the chapter in a nutshell. I mean, it's set up for this tournament, for what is about to go on. You have the ending conclusion with Shinsou, you know, manipulating Izuku's mind, or whatever he's doing, manipulating his body or mind, or he can't move. And so, yeah. Oh, yes, one thing I do want to talk about before I end this video. So, apparently there is a recovery girl on the side of each ring. That right there wouldn't be said if it wasn't going to play a vital role in this tournament. So, a recovery girl is on the outskirts of the ring on every single fight. I'm assuming that some of these matches are going to get very, very, very violent. Very violent. And it's going to have the recovery girls having to save the people that are probably really fucking injured, because, I mean, they're having a 1v1 match, and supposedly they're going to be going full out because there's a recovery girl going to be, you know, there on the sidelines. So I'm assuming we might get something similar to maybe Gaara versus Rock Lee. I mean, what if we get a fight like that? Like, what if we straight up get a fight that's very similar to Gaara versus Rock Lee? Oh my god. That would be pretty freaking badass if we see something like that, because out of all these countless characters in this tournament, I'm willing to bet there's going to be one character that's pretty brutal. I'm willing to bet it. I mean, we'll have to see where it goes. Overall, that's the chapter. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. I mean, how do you feel about this setup chapter this week of Boku no Hero Academia? How do you feel about this chapter being out early? How do you feel about the setup with all the different matches going on? Do you feel like Ochako is screwed when it comes up against Bakugo? Love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.